regards, at least as far as the names are concerned, even though Meta have had a few of their own nice wins as well in the recent times.
Pistol round will start out. Isurus will kick off on the CT side as well. And there is some utility available here for Meta, so see how they use it. Flash is in at ramp and not going to actually find what they're looking for. Ucharov getting themselves away, as well as Reversive getting the door lurk. So he's actually re-aggressing in towards ramp, and Meta are trying to circumvent him, but that's the bomb dropped in the back.
Even Allison falls right now. The only person to have taken any damage so far is Deco. Everyone else will be able to upgrade their armor scot-free. This is beautiful. The firepower advantage coming in very early on. This is exactly what you like to see. And man, this re-peek from Lukov is perfect.
Yeah, I feel like Lukov rolls off the tongue a little bit more than Luchov. I feel like Luchov is almost like a Russian name. Feels...
I'm not sure.
I don't know. To me, it feels that way. I apologize if it comes across culturally ignorant.
Of course, the differences come in where different places pronounce the CH differently. So, you know, understandable. Some people call it sh even. But I am not calling him Lushov, despite wherever the major may end up being. Oxy's a simple man with a simple name and a simple task. Get them heads. Comes through, 3 quick headshots, and this is going to be 2 rounds in a row where it seems like Metagaming will get exactly 0 kills.
Really nice sharpshooting there from Noxy. Ran out of bullets, but last bullet was all he needed to get an extra headshot, so he understood the assignment. And let's hope they can get more than 0 kills here on Meta. This is exactly how you want things. This is exactly how you want to start things off if you're on the CT side. Everybody alive, keeping things nice and groovy. Feels nice and simple. There's been no drama. Whether Meta introduced some of that.
Ooh. Good night early on from to Katsmarets. I'm really enjoying the fact that we're seeing so many of these teams prioritizing a player early into secret. You know, we saw a fair bit of that over in our first map as well. I think it's just a nice, interesting dynamic, although it does sometimes feel like it removes a player from the rest of the map so heavily so.
My outside is so free at the moment here for Meta. But... kind of an awkward move here for Deco. If he's going to spam his full clip again,
he's gonna push.
Yeah, I feel like Deco is just waiting for that final spam.
I mean, you can't keep spamming. That's why you can't. Eamons is probably feeling pretty silly about himself right now, as he has lost all control of a lobby as a result of that. At least that's what the CTs might be thinking. But Allison comes through, takes his place, and he's brought in company with him. Deco, however, is more than happy to stay on this MP9, knows how little ammo is actually left in that AK, and as Allison is rounding this corner, he's not going to notice anyone. Now that he spots him out, he does get dinked in the process, but CTs need to make their way over. Reversive has been eliminated. And indeed, Meta have gotten more than 0 kills. Aye.
Counter kill, the extra damage that's been done onto Dash, capitalized onto. Aaron, oh good, at least awareness. Caught a glimpse just as the smoke was about to be walked straight through. Allison just holding in for the angle of the vents, but ABR as well is being toyed with, so creating some extra room here for the other players here on Isurus, but Allison locking things in at the far vent. You cannot get past this man. Got the entry into the bomb site and is the one to finish off the job as well. Meta their first.
That's one of the other reasons why it's not... God. Marin sees ghosts in the smoke. That's one of the other reasons why you don't necessarily want to have 2 players down lower site that early on, just because it's so hard to come back up. The vents are impossible to breach once the T's are in solid post-plant position. That's exactly what comes back to bite them over there. Isurus will end up forfeiting their first round despite what looked to be a good start from Deco. They're not able to make anything off it.
Yeah, I think even from the angle of Deco, I'm also a little surprised he didn't pick up the AK. Like, I understand it's low on ammo. You know, you don't have an extra magazine to play around with, but, you know, he gets the dink on the first kill. You get an AK in that pause. Might get one, might get two. He ended up with none.
I'm just personally surprised he actually ducked back into Tetris more than anything else. It seems like more and more players in the late round are avoiding that particular angle unless they've got a side player who's very ready to swing off of their contact, but that obviously wasn't entirely the case.
Good round overall from Allison, though. So how fixated he was on the far vent position. You know, figured get a kill at door. Feel pretty good about maybe even taking that as a new angle. Wasn't convinced, even though he basically full cleared the whole round, but still wasn't convinced that it was done. You know, had to dodge flashes, ran into the bomb site backwards.
Always a scary thing to do.
Yeah, but it's commitment of an entry fragger to a certain degree. Like, if that is going to be how you sort of set up in your scrim, or that's the inkling that you have, you know, sometimes that can be what separates you getting dominated on by the defensive end, or, you know, being the one who checks it, being the one who clears things and is as methodical as ever.
Well, we've gotten word that there are some server issues going on, unfortunately, so boys might take about a couple of minutes or so. Hopefully we'll see you guys in about 5 to 10, and stay tuned. We should be back very soon. We're just going to go to a short break while we go figure things out. All right, we have played with the wires, we have messed with the RJ45s, and we are back in the server.
I don't know if there are continued server issues or not. Noxe just broke his legs. First round back after the break, of course, was Meta getting their first round. And Noxe, oh my goodness, I'm surprised he gets even a chance at a second, but there's a fast flank, a secondary prong, and more players just kept trying to make their ways down those vents.
I hate the CZ so much.
I mean, that was just like a hyper compressed, super dense pocket of action.
Yeah. I just think, man, I don't know. Personally, I just feel like you should only get a CZ if you're trying to win the round. Because the money, it just doesn't give you enough money for it.
Yeah, that is true. Would help if you were allowed to buy the 5.7 and the CZ, you know, another one of those things where you can only pick one.
We're not there yet in the technology, Mike. You need to understand that's some really complicated.
It's not even about the tech. It's not about the technology.
Listen,
I know for a fact it's not about the technology.
Listen, Michael, I'm gonna let you know. Okay, you don't understand code. This is a coding problem with
They could add
Visual
one
Studio
more
7.
cog to that wheel, bro. They did the whole panorama thing. It wasn't.
I mean, Panorama was just, you know, the CSS and the HTML web design and the Visual Studio things. Yeah, but point is that Leo Monsters found Noxe inside fire.
Yeah, that is one spicy meatball, and not going to be happy about how that plan, or that way the round comes to fruition. Brain short-circuiting, so same as the server. And the Molotov nade combo is very well placed. Like to see teams go for small gimmicks like it. Versive, oh, just moving through. Nobody was had their gun out and actually get his first, but he can't escape. Had a smoke behind him, but was completely pincered in. Deco, are you okay? Short legs, couldn't jump up.
Marin gone in the meanwhile and outside, and suddenly this is looking to be another round that Meta should be able to sneak off with.
Or not, we have an advantage back, yeah. Katsmeritz actually shot a bullet into from CT, so at least Deco had the upper hand. Molotov actually burning him quite low.
Second one
was
to
going to
follow
be
in
shallow.
as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got no choice but to save over here. Not a great place for Isurus to be already, with Meta setting up for 4 potentially if these two saved rifles are not going to be able to get anything much done.
I can't believe there was extra util just sitting around in spawn.
I think that was dropped over right now by his teammate.
Yeah, that would be a little curious if that's the case.
Because Lukov also doesn't have a smoke. So he could have just picked it up himself. No one drops a smoke in spawn, you know?
Yeah. But it might have just been an extra flash. That seems to be the most common of them. But overall, things go fairly well there for Meta. Nice little nade combination into main. Means that Noxe, if he's going to play that position, has to be at least a little hesitant about making that fast progress, trying to get close to those accessible vents. Always nice to mix things up in your early protocols. Always nade open the door. That's certainly one thing that T-side love doing, but can't be too predictable.
Lukov getting aggressive on outside red container, not actually pushing all the way through, and ramp is as unoccupied as an abandoned, haunted, scary, creepy house.
A lot of adjectives for the same thing.
I mean, something that's abandoned doesn't have to be scary and creepy, Michael. You know, like a cat being abandoned.
Alright, maybe I've just got abandonment issues. It's really drudging up a lot, actually.
Sorry to break that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We'll push through it.
Lukov. Oh, missing out a big opportunity. Leo Monster able to shut him down, and with this, suddenly the bomb site becomes a little bit more accessible. Mayern traded out as well, but the trades are coming in from ABR, who continues the action going, but even so, 30 seconds and the bomb is down. Molotov to try and force Noxy out. There are a lot of molly kills that look to be lining up. Fortunately, ABR will deliver death with a bullet, but despite some good trades from Isurus, it won't be enough. Meta still run away with the fourth.
Yeah, they had a rifle in the right spot, and there was certainly a chance at it, but had to at least get a couple of those kills to make the pistol positions that much stronger. But when Meta have extra bodies like that, they can just continuously trade into the bomb site. Noxe doesn't like that the Molotov exists in the game. Right now, he's been funneled out of positions, he's been killed by them. AWP now picked up and using a Molotov in his own regard to see if he can peek above it. Nobody will oblige the other side. Progress outside, though. Wow.
Oh.
Very dry approach, all in all. I mean, one flash just to cross that many people over.
Hey, man, you don't need 3 smokes when a flash will do. You know? Noxy finds Leo Monster in the meanwhile. So that's where maybe you could have used some smokes, and Deco's taking the opportunity to try and get the flank. That's very, very likely that he can find Dash out completely, shuts him down, and now it's a 5-on-3 retake against Metagaming, who have yet to really even get the bomb plant down. ABR waiting for the swing to come in from Secret, as he's realized that the CTs are likely going to be coming in soon, but Isurus have recognized that the only way they lose this round is that they give away early duels for no reason. And that is something they are going to be completely straying away from. Well, I say that, and Deco peeks out.
Really good hunt there for Kutzmerits. I mean, they're trying to change up their angles as well here on the CTs. Isurus is very concerned about the idea of them coming up those vents and into the A site, because everyone's committed lower. Versive's at least keeping an eye out from the top side of Secret, but dude, they're not convinced. They're actually going to make that rotate, thinking that they're going to go towards A, but Allison starts throwing these flashes out, so they realize they have to double back.
God, man, 15 seconds? Surely you just commit to this point or the other, but no. No chances for Meta. Waiting it out too long, that 3v5, even though they find the 1 kill, it doesn't matter at all. The early frags going the way of Isurus is just too much for them to handle.
Yeah, it might have been the wrong call here for Meta to stick to their guns as heavily as that. But that just shows you the strength as well, for anyone that's watching, of just stopping and freezing in place. Sometimes you let your opponent overthink a scenario, and you saw it actually split up Isurus, if not for the fact they got some very, very sharp kills when Meta were actually collapsing on the site in those last few seconds. Could have ended up in a post plan, could have ended up in a retake scenario where Isurus didn't have the numbers. The opener here for Leo. Kills from that door position, whether it's been on the main player or early site swings, has been very, very good here for Meta. Noxe is in a different spot and actually trying to capitalize. Allison spamming, and Noxe didn't even go for the wide swing. Full spam.
Beautiful, man. Noxy just completely eliminating him. Aaron repositions to find the head of Guts as well, and now a 4-on-3. No one in ramp, so could even be some aggression to come through, but if that is going to be the call for Lukov, he's going to be caught out by an AWP, but close range, and he's got the spray. Damage on a Dash is good as well, and now with 2 CTs in the lower bomb site, Mayern finding Dash already. The bomb for Leo has actually traversed straight back to A 1-on-3, where he's given himself a chance by getting the bomb plant at the upper bomb site, even more so when you consider the fact that the players coming up from vent will have to be careful, but they have thunder-footed it forward. Leo trying to line them up, but he's instead threaded the needle and gone right between them. Isurus will equalize.
About the only way that Leo makes that work is if he hits 2 headshots so quick. He knew where the hot player was, and the only unknown was where the others were. Plant's nice for the extra money, but considering the way they start this round, 5-on-4, the fact that the numbers get thinned out from there, you know, good counter plays from Noxe, good killing from main as well, and they're just going 1-for-1 at ramp at that point is fine. More than acceptable. Or an answer back where, I don't know, in some ways we come off that Dust game where things were so streaky. In my brain, I've almost come to accept that as as okay, but good that things are back and forth. The AWP for Noxe, though, doesn't miss a beat. Has missed few shots. Guys, 10 and 4 now with that extra kill, and Mayern barely caught a glimpse of Kutsmarez behind that smoke, and good for 2.
Oh, ABR completely catches off Lukov. And with no one actually nearby on the lower bomb site, this is going to force out some rotations from Isurus to potentially come through. Dash is going to be given an opportunity to try and capitalize. If you can get even a single kill, there's a lot of time left. But Isurus are playing the smart. They're not going to move.
Oh yeah, not until they group themselves up. See them double clearing in from hell. Only the main player keeps tabs on outside because things are very quiet. Too quiet.
Have to have an idea by this point that the bomb can't be down or towards the lower bomb site. Otherwise, there's no reason for it not to have been planted so far. Reversive repositions to take up ye old faithful CT vent. Noxie's starting to get worried though about whether there's a chance that someone has cheated past him. Would have been very difficult, but if there was a player nestled into the corner, I don't think that was actually checked, so he has to be slightly wary. And now as he starts to fade back over, 15 seconds, Meta might have actually made them bite this fake. You still have to get past the op, which is going to be difficult in its own right. Noxie, oh! Giving them nothing.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, I say we talk about the fact that you could just cut all sound, cut all information, and really just get into your opponent's head like that. And, you know, you're right. They're weaker on this bomb site, but when the spacing's like that and the stars align, Noxe has been lights out. Well, certainly a flashy finish to what was a pretty slow round all in all. 8 block to try and blow open the door, so that is unideal, but Mayern is going to be a continued nuisance on the outside duel. Once again, Kutsmarez cut down.
Lukov. Oh.
Could have been an easier kill.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Especially with the A1.
Very loud. And the one door blown open. That's a very specific nade lineup you need to know.
Really annoying.
Incredibly hard to counteract.
This one's going to be rough for the T side as Leo Monster has been completely locked into ramp. He can't really contribute too much, but with 3 players trying to come through Decon, maybe there's space for a spray down. Allison is gone. No spray down to be had. Leo. Oh, he thinks the reposition is there. Bomb still ticking away, getting dangerously low. ABR's giving himself a chance, and as he peeks forward, he definitely had the opportunity, but Mayern will defend the president. Isurus on 6.
Nobody fumbling here for Isurus in these past 4 rounds. Sure, a nice little streak there from Meta, but things can't always continue in these streaky performances. 4 is not going to be enough. You move into the second half, so still more work to be done, and they've certainly had their opportunities. That I think these slow late rounds have been confusing for Isurus in a way, but they have hit all the crucial shots at these final moments. Pistols means they're going fast and running straight out of the hut, dropping off of it. There was a secondary player committed to the site. There's only 1 casualty, and it will be Noxe. That ult, though, is recovered. So no problems here for Isurus on the money front.
Yeah, this is just a cleanup crew.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate as well that the hut player didn't feel like he was going to be as helpful from the top side of the hut with that smoke down, so just got around the other side of it to try and support the site player. Small things, small selfless things can help your team in a massive way.
Oh, Mayern, how do you expect a second player there? I do not know.
He's been very sharp. I want to see the head-to-head in terms of Cuts and Mayern. I'm pretty sure it's like 5-1. I say something to that sort.
Marin's definitely been getting the better of him consistently on outside, that's for sure.
That'll work for it here if you're meta. The overall structure has been okay. The start of rounds has been pretty kind of hit and miss. I think a lot of these openers in the rounds they succeeded in weren't always converted on. So that's been about how they re-navigate these mid-round moments.
Very solid kills coming out from Mirren. He is demolishing them. No one to trade whatsoever. Mirren keeps it going. Reversive to add his name to the tally as well. And despite whatever space Leo Monster may have been able to find, this is going to be proving to be more than a little bit useless.
Yeah, pretty classic bait. First player on the ramp, shoots, runs down very loud. And Mayern, I mean, started outside, ended up ramp, so very mobile approach. There was even a third player ramp. You know, Reversive came from the lower side and was like, you know, I want a piece of this action. Yeah, no chance for Leo. Just save the Galil. They are all over ramp. Oh, actually, no, there's an AK, of course.
It's really impressive, the fact that these guys, the Isurus guys, have managed to... What now? That's 3 rounds with 0 players dying, coupled with 4... or the 0 players dying and a couple with 4 players staying alive as well. They have consistently made the rounds that they're winning look so incredibly one-sided.
Yeah. There have been a couple contested rounds in there, but because of how many rounds they've now won in a row, it's kind of shielded all of that up. It's only really notable the lack of kills, because it is so rare for it to happen. You know, usually there's like one player lurking around that gets a sneaky frag, or
especially on Nuke.
Yeah, or you overwhelm somebody eventually, but they have been very good at keeping bodies. I do think this is very needed here for meta.
100%.
Find a way to avoid getting picked off on the opening duel. Find a way to deal with Mayern might actually be more appropriate.
How do you deal with someone who gets an opening kill on outside, then is in ramp, but you've got 3 players pushing in like
Anticipate
half a second afterward? Anticipate. Okay. Just read into it, bro.
Just think harder.
Well, their thoughts have got them to the diagonal smoke. Noxy... no, not the diagonal, actually. The L smokes. Oh!
Yeah, that's
Allison!
Headbutted it.
He's going to be missing some of his guts after that one. Noxy on the side of the corner is going to be peeking into a whole lot of Tech 9s and some fiery death to be raining down onto him because he is completely caught off. Allison sidesteps and swings.
Yeah, tanked the nade, but the position was key.
Lukov will still be able to recover right there. Will not get them, will not rather give them access to hell all too easily, even if the op is recovered now. And Lukov fades away. Gatsmarat says to be careful. Lukov keeps himself in a corner. Will be looking to drop down soon after as well. Desh keeps an eye out, but it's Katsmarats to get himself the Tech 9 frag and ends up being caught off by Lukov, who is still trying to defend on this B-bomb site. Late entrance from Deko is going to be here. The doors are still open, but on his right is a player waiting in line, but he's able to turn around, given the time, given the space, and now with the doors open, doors closed, doesn't really matter. Bomb defuse won't even be needed. Deko just completely dismantles them. A 1-on-3. Right at the position where VSM pulled off his quad kill earlier on today.
I mean, ABR I don't think is looking the right way. I think he just turns to cover just as he spots the side, and yeah, he fumbles the bag because that was the one kill, the one frag that could not evade them. 1-on-3 for Deco is great. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen anyone accidentally dink their teammate with a USP before, but it's happened just now. Lukov down to 78. Let's see who it came from, so I don't know who to blame. think the spirits are high here for Isurus, even in their most contested round. They've somehow pulled it off.
Oh, Noxy. This time he's not going to be cut off. One is too many for him. Which is also what I say about my kills in games generally.
That what, sorry?
One is too many for me.
Ah. He's had far more than just the one this whole game. And everywhere. I can see as well that the secondary player here for Isurus. Oh my goodness, Noxe really making sure that that statement is true. He has been very omnipotent, covering all these angles, making sure that nobody goes by unscathed. ABR trying to plant inside the smoke. The smoke is running thin on timings and keeping nades out. Allison brought down. ABR at least able to trade, but still a 2-on-4.
Well, now it's 1-on-4. First found, second missed, and that could be it for Cuts Moretz, as he is going to be traded out. The double swing is there. If he'd landed that first shot, could have been a different story. Unfortunately for him, it will just be a 10th round secured for Isurus, despite Metagaming having a couple of nice rounds in the middle. That'll be all they have. I can't believe that Mayern goes by undetected for so long there.
Yeah, I think just because of the fact that, you know, picking up the ramp position late as well, the fact that nobody swung on the bomb site, they're actually allowing the plant. They just felt they had a little bit more room there on the side of meta. Maybe there wasn't this extra player there, but Isurus have been tricky about the way they've been holding the lower site. They start double doors sometimes, but then change up their positions. Last round of the half here, I said meta wasn't going to be happy if they only came out of this with 4 rounds, and I think that might be where they get locked into. It seems like a burst might be what they have in store.
Reverse it. Gotta be careful with Leo Monsters actually. Oh my goodness, Deco! Just runs them over completely. 11-4 half for Isurus as we end up with another multi-frag performance on this A-bomb side to make sure it's a clean ending for them. Metagaming are not going to be happy about this whatsoever. 4 rounds on T-side isn't terrible, but the fashion in which Isurus was steamrolling them, that was disheartening.
Yeah, and they had many activators, right? They had the AWP popping off on the CT side for Noxe. We had Mayern in the way that he was handling outside. And, you know, especially in those latter rounds, Deco being a pivotal piece, the 1-on-3, and then just being an absolute tart in that A site. It felt like there were many different players they had to be concerned about, and they couldn't ever really address it, even in these closer moments. Yeah, being trapped at 4 for such a long time and now transitioning into CT, this pistol is going to be pivotal. Immediate smoke at the door and breaking of the vent. Like the idea, but seems like they are going to set up for a main smoke and run out through the door. Little hot molly as well. Things are poised for an A-side execute.
All of it's going to come down to Allison and what he can actually get done. Remember, though, we've actually seen a few teams trying to go straight over into the vents instead, so maybe a bit of flexibility over here, but no. With the Molotov there, Allison doesn't have a chance either. These opening duels are going to lead to only one thing. Fired and demolished. The CTs with 2 players left, Dash and ABR, don't really have anything they can do here.
Yeah, very rarely do we see a proper execute in a pistol round, so I appreciate this here from Isurus. First off as well, you know, they throw this main smoke, flash. You know, the fact they have 2 sets of util is a lot for a pistol round. Usually it's like smoke flash or smoke molly, but they make sure that they have all the bells and whistles. And even using an adapted molly where it molotoved off the little door that you can stand on top side of hut, where that is sometimes a small little safe area that you have as a CT. It wasn't to be. Yeah, it forced Allison out of position. Didn't stand a chance. I have to say, though, the CT setup there for Meta, it's one of those things where they throw this smoke in a door, they break open the vent. That is a bit of that's quite a lot of information actually to give over to the T side in the early stages of a pistol round, that there is going to be someone dropped down to the lower side of the map. You know, staring at the vents after they get the entries was pretty much a guarantee there for Isurus to get another kill.
Did they blow open the door? I think they didn't.
No, didn't blow open the door. No.
Yeah.
Luko's down, so how do you defend the B-bomb site?
Poorly.
You probably don't, actually.
ABR, maybe he's the answer to your question, as he does have Katsmarets coming in from behind him as well. ABR is, of course, the one with the P250 and Kevlar. As he lies around the corner, we'll get a dink in. A nice little ADR bump, but ADR bumps don't matter if you're not going to get the round or the kill.
I don't think I've really heard the expression ADR bump that often, but I hear it. I understand.
I think
go for the ABR with the ADR. I hear you. Maybe his name is just Aber.
Would be more underwhelming. I like the name ABR.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good.
Especially because, like, in my head, I can also think of, like, old school motorcycle, like, noises with that, like, you know?
Okay, I mean, I don't understand where that's come from, really.
ABR, see?
I thought you were going to say something along the lines of, like, oh, who's a Brazilian player? Oh, ABR, like, Brazil.
That's terrible. How did you manage something worse than mine? Wow.
I don't know, bro. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Oh, God. We actually have had a couple of ABs. You know, we started off with ABM before for Furious as well.
Yeah,
he was Argentinian, though.
There's been quite a lot of different names.
Indeed.
Nice.
That tends to happen in tournaments, yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Sometimes you do see a lot of the same names, especially regions that are, I think, struggling to find more representation. You know, it's not as though the South American scene is starved. It's just, it is typically all Brazilian. We've had I think the fact that there has been this implementation of the Argentinian division of the Fire League certainly helped in that manner. There's a lot more chances to break through. I don't know how many. Oh well, that's not the molly that you're looking for. But it won't really matter that much. Meta are playing a very defensive game. Garage, sights, and ramp. Nobody saw the Molotov. Only us. For better or for worse.
Pop through towards this A-bomb site, perhaps, or rather at least the fake, but ABR has found out that they headed back to ramp. He's got some decent damage out, but a shot of broken glass, and he's taking a really nice off angle, but he'll be checked by the wrong side. Initially, he's only good for the one, and Leo is the one who has to come through and make quick work elsewhere. Lukov all alone, a 1-on-3. Any sort of additional damage you can find over here would be nice, but the bomb plant at least guarantees a slightly better buy in the next round as well. They're already doing well on economy, but this one will make sure they've got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, nicely done. And if only Leo had been there a second sooner, would have been able to, I think, more appropriately protect from the left side. See how concerned ABR was in the initial fights, but the setup was almost built in time for what was a ramp down to B. Isurus stopped before things get too frisky. You end up at 14-15. The pressure is really applied. It could be, in some ways, easy to keel over. Okay, spamming the smoke when you're close to events like this. Allison even reloading as well. I mean, these are very risky moves to be making. The spam almost lined up. But
looked like he had it.
yeah, surprisingly, not actually any damage done.
I think he might have been moving.
Really took one bullet.
I think he might have been moving while he was doing it. But hey, maybe that's what keeps him alive as well.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Dash got a kill on his AWP. That's certainly good news considering the amount of impact Nocte had on his CT side. I think that's gonna be a bit of a comparison point later on if we see too many rounds in the second half. Not an ideal spot to be. A lot of utility expended, and we've been talking about it fairly recently on Nuke. When you lack smokes, you lack some util. Ramp does feel like the more vulnerable of the two, but into Dash's AWP, another pick.
Yeah, he's not letting go too easily, which is nice to see. He obviously had a very difficult first half along with Allison, and hoping that these two can pick it up a little bit more going into this one. Meta. Find the bomb, drop it, keep all 5 players alive in this round as well. Allison is going to be able to seal the deal on that particular story, and with this, their money starts to build up a fair bit as well, which is nice to see, because look, at the end of the day, it is CT side Nuke, although 13-6 still makes me think that Isurus should be in a decent position to be able to close this out regardless of what happens, but hey, if there's any map you're going to make a comeback on, it'll be this one.
Yeah, out of any in the pool, this is probably the most CT-sided map that we still have in today's game, which things have changed from meta to meta to meta, from map change to map change. Nuke has never really been that consistent for too long in terms of the win rates, but some real chances to bridge the gap that Isurus built in that first half. Couple of rounds in a row here for meta, and now just pistols in for Isurus, but they have got that wall of smokes that threatens this lower side. There's only one player that can only really act as first responder, and that's Leo. Nade could be great if he picks the timing right, but also could leave him vulnerable if he's not too careful. I think now he'd be too scared to throw the nade, surely.
Had to say. Well, Leo comes through with a couple of freebies. At least he makes them look like they're free, but 4 kills are nice just to make sure that his team can keep that money going.
Pretty hard fought. Kind of like the way the Leo approached that. I mean, blowing open the doors can be a little awkward feeling, but especially when you have the better weapon, it's almost comparable to the way that you approach sort of taking short control on overpass. You know, you break open those doors if you have a connector player and a short player. Getting into short order can be almost impossible. So, you know, these longer ranged angles, these number of different positions you have to clear on B, Leo just added another set to the equation. He's looked good. He's had some nice shots. Gun round here for Isurus, and wall of smokes down, one is which that allowed them to sort of play in front of it. What's the glaive smoke? Oh wow, Cosmoras has taken a lot of damage, and the dink would have been heard by the players crossing in towards secret, so they know that there is one garage guaranteed.
I don't know about Dash though, and this is where if they actually start to split up, this is where Dash could take advantage of that very fact. Dash with the Molotov in his pocket as well, so it'll be very difficult to chase him down. It doesn't look like he's just had the makings of this round at all. Meta, I've got this locked and loaded. Slow peek forward. Noxy is able to bait out the shot. Beautifully done. And a very slow Molotov for Dash means that they can chase him down and make it look easy.
Fight or flight, and he tried to run. Burning through flames, it didn't matter. Isurus break into this B bomb site, can get this bomb planted as well. Only rotate they have to worry about is from those vents, and they have the audio to confirm it. Lurk is found, so thinning the herd at least slightly. Man advantage is now lost. Meta can go for this retake.
So it's going to be very late to the party as Katsmaretz. He's hoping to come through for the secondary flank, but that might be too little too late. And I've got plenty of money to try and attempt this at the very least. Great start to things. ABR finding Lukov, and the spray down from Mayer is going to keep them at bay for a while longer. Somehow making it look easy. Just need to run right onto the bomb site. Isurus all out in the open, taking those duels, looking to be isolated out as well.
Yeah, nice little quick collapse once Meta gathered themselves in towards Decon. Just how many players just kept on funneling through this one avenue. So it's trades on trades. And then when one player wins a duel, it's very hard to pick up the next because they had so many numbers. Great stuff there from Meta. And as well, good heads up from Allison to get that lurking player that helped incentivize Meta to go for that, because having an extra player, they have to worry about maybe the timing they go for the retake, the backstab, as they realized that wasn't going to be the case. He had it all under control. Oh my god, this is always a scary sight. Isurus just crossing without util towards lower, and no one's gonna know. Nobody was there to spot it. No one's there to call anything. They're so huddled up in this A bomb site that it's a free B site, free B plant.
This is the biggest gamble, and it has paid off like nothing else. They also have no idea how many players are over here. There's still 2 players on the lurk who are trying to make this a little bit easier for post-spawn. Noxy needed to get that second as well. He had to get it. Deco now trying to keep things alive and trying to keep things interesting. Moretz is unable to proceed onto the bomb side. Brute forces it out completely. And Lukov's all that's left. A 1-on-3. Bomb not planted for him. Wide swing out, and it's into Dash's up. Isurus looked like they're getting desperate, and although their desperation offers them a chance, it's a chance they do not capitalize on.
And this is the thing, they come into this round with basically no util. They've gone for full weaponry, and that was part of the reason they take this gamble. They go outside with no util, no smokes, no nothing, and that's good. You know, the fact that they made it work, they got into the site, that's great. But once they get that bomb planted, once the jig is up, they can't delay, they can't slow Meta down to allow some of these lurking players to activate. They can't do anything to stop Meta from just taking fights straight up. And so when they start winning those duels, the post plan starts to unravel there for the T side. But certainly a neat idea. Like you said, a risk that could have been something more. Meta are still chomping at the bit to close in on that gap, and they're doing so successfully. Only 4 rounds that separates these two. Another low util round here for Isurus. They don't have a whole lot of options. Couple smokes that they do have might just be sent towards outside to fake, or for some ideas about whether or not they get down towards the lower site.
Ooh. Crucial kill to find early in. Been a long time since we've been able to see an untraded opener coming out from the Isurus camp, and with a Molotov to the back of the side, a follow-up frag on top of it as well. It is nice to see. And I do believe Mirren has got himself a great angle to work off of as well. So after a long dry spell, Isurus will be guaranteeing themselves at least one more round on this T side.
Yeah, a little surprised that any sort of this outside pressure worked. You saw Meta playing 2 players towards the lower side, maybe because they expected that Isurus would try and do something quick or around pistols or something of the sort, but because of the loss bonus, because of the extra plant money, they have these rifles. And once they get that entry, like you said, it's so rare that we've seen untraded duels, but they didn't have the personnel on the upper side to keep these Isurus players in check. The streak is broken. 5 rounds in a row. Isurus back in with a win. Whether or not it can be consistent will be the key. Really, the past 5-6 rounds, the more feasible of which have actually been around where there hasn't been util deployed from this T side. Meta have been kind of in their own heads about what setup they have to go for, what kind of buy Isurus are going to be on. Now they understand it's going to be a full buy, full util, full everything. So less gambly here for Isurus. Meta have actually been pretty successful in rounds like these.
What can Katsmirat find in this circumstance? So much outside control means that he has to be the one getting involved soon. Garage kill will find the bomb. Reversive, that's not an angle you ever check for. It's so well played from Cuts, but he's been traded out and the bomb's been recovered. ABR, however, that's a kill and some tag damage as well. With that, Noxy can be finished off by Allison. Comes in for the second on top, and it is the 10th round nonetheless for Meta. Really nice positioning from Katsmirat. I have to say, this angle, I don't actually think I've seen it used before.
It is so incredibly passive, but after the deep flash in Garage as well, I think he understood that they had an intention of coming his way, so he just tucked. I'm actually almost surprised that it wasn't all cleared, but, you know, you're so much more concerned about getting shot from hell or even CT spawn at that point. But why did he go alone with the bomb? That was the bigger concern. I think Meta clued into the fact that there was going to be panic stations once that package was dropped. There's been some good reads from Allison. I think interpreting where T's are likely to be coming from after the initial duel. It would have been an awkward spot if he fell into the trap that was getting aggressive into lobby. Oh my goodness, he's still going to go for the timing, and that will be his detriment. Deco can get himself into an AK as well. They're trying to take space.
Leo gets caught in between two angles. Mirren instead is able to overrun him. Now the advantage for Isurus is found. Grenade goes deep, will do very little in the ways of helping them actually get back onto this bomb site. And as much as you'd like to see Meta go for this, they don't seem to feel like they've got the positioning necessary. ABR to try and come through the vent solo with just a flashbang is impossible. Mirren to cover, and Dash on the fadeaway gets another kill, sure, but money's not going to be an issue for this T side. And Dash, all he can try and do over here is just save. Meta have had a very convincing second half, but unfortunately, it is looking like just the problem of a poor first half is coming back to bite them.
Yeah, just not a lot of wiggle room. Not a lot of chances to make mistakes. Allison has been so good in the mid-round moments. You know, like I said, interpreting how things have been going. For him to go for a playmaking opportunity, pushing into lobby like that, where the only thing that can go wrong did lose a duel versus a MAC-10, and Isurus were chomping at the bit to burst into the A-bomb site. They're going to go for a fast-paced play this time over as well. Flashes are great. Allison blinded up, trapped in the site, but the player in from the heavens as well there to support, so Allison can just keep on taking fights, but reversive. Mayern as well coming in for a trio of frags, and so the A site taken, man advantage held. Meta need this retake.
Again, though, the positions just make it look impossible. Flashbangs, another Molotov as well. On top of it all, ABR's called for the flash, says he's gonna go for it. No matter what happens now, his own smoke to block him. Dash, another Molotov, and mid-air, Noxy will pull him out, block him through, and finish him off. Isurus